Hi, I'm Annahlyse Meyer, your Chief Communications Officer, and I'm here with Shawn, Public Works Director and ADA Coordinator. Now, Shawn, you're having an ADA open house here today, right? Can you tell me a little more about that?
We are. This is a chance, really, sort of an update on our new ADA transition plan that was adopted by Council in June of this year, earlier this year. We did a number of previous public information opportunities, open houses. I think we feel like there's just a need for an update in the community.
Okay, so can you tell, for people that don't know, what is a transition plan?
You bet. It's a requirement. It's a formal term used by the Americans with Disabilities Act, and every city has to have one, or every agency that is required to enforce that law has to have a transition plan. And it's basically a plan that lays out what we need to do. In our case, it relates mostly to public spaces, so public buildings, public parks, sidewalks, anything in the public open space that needs to be accessible to those with disabilities.
Okay, so does this plan address anything with transportation for
It does.
or
In fact,
accessibility?
that's a big,
what kinds of things are in the plan?
That's a big part of it. I should say, too, that the city's first transition plan was adopted in 1993. The Americans with Disabilities Act was adopted by Congress in 1990. So if you look back, most cities and counties and universities and others have a transition plan that's about 25 years old. And the purpose of updating ours, and that's happening across the country, the purpose is to do just that, to update the plan, figure out what we've gotten accomplished in the previous 25 years and what else we need to do to make our city more accessible. And yes, transportation is a big part of that. Certainly sidewalks are the thing that comes to mind, but we looked at traffic signals and sidewalks and transportation around parks and any number of things that just allows the disabled to have the same access to programs and services that anyone else in Norman would have.
Okay, and if I wasn't able to come to one of the other open houses and I can't make today, is there any other way that I can comment?
Absolutely. We've got this plan, if you really want to drill into it, and it's a tough read. There's a lot of information there, but there's a lot of information in the general topic on the city's website. There has been an active survey, if you want to take part in a survey on accessibility in Norman. That's been up for probably 6 months and still remains accessible. So we'd love for folks to get on our survey, also on the city's website, and give us your feedback about accessibility. And it gets into details like, how do you feel about certain buildings and sidewalks and that sort of thing. And then there's also a interesting thing, it's called a Wiki Map, also on the city's website. And you can literally go into this map of Norman and you can click on certain areas that might be a problem for you. So if someone is having difficulty navigating an intersection or getting into again, a park or a public building, you can click on the map and write a little note on there. And then we're reviewing that map as a staff here on a regular basis to try to identify where the problems might be in Norman. And once we know that, then we'll take action and try to get those things fixed.
Okay. Is there a deadline for when people need to get their comments in by?
This is an ongoing process.
Okay.
Kind of the irony of today's meeting is the plan has been adopted. I think a lot of the focus today is going to be on what are we doing now that we have the plan. What is the city doing going forward? And we've said that this is probably a 20-year plan, and so we've got lots of things to do. But there's a lot going on right now in terms of adding staff. We're going to have our first ADA technician in hopefully January of 2019. So we've never had a full-time staff person working on ADA accessibility, so that's exciting for us. It's exciting for me because I frankly don't have the time I need to devote to this program. We are working on a permanent ADA citizen steering committee. We've never had one of those. And I think that's maybe one of the more important things that we're doing. This would be a committee that would probably meet, quarterly, regularly, and provide guidance to the City Council on accessibility issues. That's very important. Some cities have one, some don't. We've never had one here. And then there's lots of other activity going on at various department levels. So the Parks Department is working on certain parks issues and accessibility updates. Public Works is working on sidewalks and roads and streets intersections. So we'll be able to tell folks today what we've been doing since June and what we hope to be doing, let's just say the next 12 to 24 months.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of exciting changes going on, and that you'll have a lot to talk about today. So if you all would like to come out and discuss the ADA plan with Shawn and Mayor Miller will be kicking off the open house at 3 p.m. right here in the Multipurpose Room at City Hall, followed by a presentation by Mr. O'Leary and open discussion with the public. So I hope to see you there.